Well, absolutely, yeah. So this is Chrono Trigger Just of Time Randomizer. Um, we have Phone, Mershana, and SVJ, Saint Von Jester here with us tonight. Um, we have Boss Rando and Gear Randomizer, which we will go into further detail later on. But I'm just very excited to be here with everybody and just to have a good time. And thank you for having me here tonight. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you joining me. I'll be kicking them off in the race room in like 15 seconds. But yeah, I'm excited to
Oh, me too,
watch
me
some
too.
Jets of Time, hang out. Hopefully, we'll get some nice donations in along the way. And we're not being threatened with puns anymore, so
Oh,
we
we're
can breathe
not?
easily
Okay.
for a little bit.
Well, we can be threatened the moment chat decides to swing the hammer, but
Well, absolutely. Can swing all the way.
Alrighty, so yeah, they'll be kicking off in a few seconds here. Nathan, why don't you share with Chad? What are we trying to do in Jets of Time? How do we beat the game? Um, what are we doing in the beginning?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So the objective of Jets of Time, there are three go modes, and it looks like we have Frog and I did not. Oh, Luca. Um, the objective is to defeat Lavos or Zeal, and there are three ways to do that. Um, so we can either find the hilt or the bent sword, and we have Frog. So we would be able to get access to Magus Go mode if we manage to find all the pieces to the sword and visit Melchior. There's also the other option of visiting prehistory, which would require the gate key. You would also need the Dreamstone to get through Tyranno Lair, and the Ruby Knife for the Mammoth Machine. But there's also another option too, with going through the Black Omen, which you would need Pendant to access Future, and there's also the Time Egg or the Chrono Trigger, and you would need the clone as well for Chrono. But during the beginning of the run, basically what the runners are going to be doing is they're going to be doing their shopping, um, doing their basic things such as like visiting Tabin's grave to find like speed tabs. They're going to be looking for ethers, shelters. Um, they're they're shopping around. They're going to be finding a grind spot too as well, which a very common one is in 600 AD, where you'll be in the forest where Marshawn is at right now. She's finding a shelter, and I believe she's taking this fight up here. Um, as Saint Von Jester, actually, he's checking a key item right now with the Carpenter check, which is the Dreamstone, which is what I was talking about with the prehistory, going through the Tyranno lair, which is one of the key items that you'll need to get access to Lavos. Um, but yeah, I know I'm talking a lot right now. I'm really excited for this event and just helping out with charity. um, well, let's see what's going on right now. Phone is getting the speed tab. Rashawn is doing a little grinding in the forest right now. Usually two fights are required to get enough tech points to where you'll get like your fancy stuff like your spells and all that. And in particular, you want your AoE attacks, which is your screen clears. Frog and Luca in particular, which I think Frog got water too, which is something you want really bad. Um, to You want to clear all the enemies as fast as possible. Um, Carpenter check, which Phone just did. Looked like they had the bent sword to the hilt, which we have Frog. Um, that would be 2/3 of a go mode to go into Magus Castle, and there's just a lot of shopping right now, grinding to get enough XP to get through Cathedral if they choose to do so, and there's um there's a lot going on right now, but um, it looks like we're just doing uh, our easy checks we can do right now. Our power tabs are +4, which is the best that we can get right now. Um, and what do we see here? Marshana looks like they did pick up the key item there, which is part of the Magus Castle Go mode. Um, well, yeah, let's see what's going on and see what our racers are going to do tonight. I'm very excited to hang out with everybody in chat included. Let's see. Oh, the Bound Hilt? Okay. Bound Hilt at Snail Stop. We got some ethers and revives. That's always good. So basically what we're doing right now in the very beginning is that we're grinding, we're getting our XP and tech points to um to get through the cathedral, which I believe most runners will do since that is one of the first checks that we usually do for a character check. Having a third party member is always very nice to have. Marshana picking up a speed tab from Tabin's Grave. Speed is king. That is what you want to have to be able to make your moves first against the enemies. But let's see what we're up to right now. I'm excited. I'm very, very excited.
And I'm back. I got some more caffeine. Ready to go. So
oh
yeah, there's a lot of action early. They're gonna kind of go to similar places. Nathan's doing a great job of painting the early game picture here. But a couple of things to kind of point out. I think a lot of people have experienced vanilla Chrono Trigger at some point in their lives. It's definitely a big favorite for a lot of people out there. We have done some balancing. This is a randomizer that, certainly, and I would recommend playing casually always. But there is definitely intended a design for some racing. One of those things is balancing out the characters. So a couple of the characters in vanilla have absolutely atrocious speed. Nathan mentioned speed is king because it affects how fast our bar charges, and the farther in the game that we get, generally the faster enemies are, and usually it's pretty important for our overall survival to be going first in fights, as well as for going fast. Because a mob that we could clear in one turn, having faster speed, we might have to wait for all of them to attack us before we get that screen clear off.
And it looks like we're going to be getting our first character check right here on St. Fawn Gesture's side.
Yeah, so we've mentioned kind of checks. Those are obviously like events or dungeons that we can go to at the very beginning of the game. We get those first two characters. Nathan mentioned those free spots where we can pay for or do a quick fetch quest in order to get a couple of those key items. Also available to us, we have the Denadoro Mountains in the 600 AD. We can talk to the guy on the bridge, go talk to his brother, the chef, and do the bridge fight and the boss there for a reward. The cathedral has a character in the front. There's also a character we can get by going all the way to the back, beating the boss, and then going to the castle where normally we get Marl back again in our party in the vanilla game. The reason that sometimes we don't go to the back is we have good enough characters that we feel confident we can go start trying to find those key items.
Absolutely. And with this party we have going on right now, I'd feel pretty confident with not checking back at Cathedral just because Frog and Marl, they hold key items behind them. We need Frog for the Masamune pieces, the hilt and the sword piece, but Marl can also hide things behind her key item check, which is the Prism Shard. Um, which in order to get that though, we would have to turn that in, and you would also have to do a boss that's in 1000 AD, but that'll be for later if we even find that key item.
Yeah, very good point. There are particular characters that having them makes additional checks available. Robo being the other one. If we get Robo, we can defeat the monster in the desert, and then he'll replant the forest, and 400 years later, give us a key item. I heard Frog might have water too. I mentioned the desert. That is really the spot that, with no other key items, is the hardest enemies we can fight for the highest experience rewards. There's also the Hecarim Cave, which is available to us right away. A lot of tech points, but not as much experience. So I'm curious with our runners having, if we have that early water too, how many of them are going to go to the desert, clear that out, and set themselves up to kind of sail through a lot of the checks in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe I did see Frog had water too. Um, but it looks like Phone is opting to go into Mystic Cave first. Um, like you said, most like the pots in here that the enemies you'll encounter, they would typically give out 25 tech points, which is a lot. Um, for your first 3 techs. The thing is, you'll only be able to get the first 3, and that's it. Unless you have Magus or Ayla in your party, which we don't have right now. So it's, I mean, honestly, if I could get water too early, going through Hecarim Cave and then doing the desert grind would be very worth it. Being level like 13 or 14 will get you through a lot of the early game very quickly, just like Fitz said, and you would feel confident throughout your whole run, honestly, just with that early desert grind.
Indeed. What else do I want to kind of cover? I'm going to assume we got viewers that have never seen Jets before. So,
Hmm.
now water 2, that's not normally one of Frog's 3 techs. So is there like something going on with like the tech order in these settings, or is this just something weird going on with the game right now?
Oh, yeah, this is not vanilla whatsoever. The tech order is randomized, so seeing water 2, um, is it's very nice to have an AoE attack very early on in the game, and it looks like Saint Von Jester has Nizbel as the boss where Yaker is. And speaking of that, the bosses are randomized. So if you're used to playing vanilla, they're all going to be in very different places. You won't see Nizbel here in 600 AD. He's usually hanging out in prehistory. He's he's weak to magic, so Marl having ice too helps SVJ a lot out here, and he cleared the boss out very quickly.
Yeah, you mentioned that one of the, this is definitely a flag. Boss Rando is one we have on, and so the bosses are going to inherit the stats of the spot that they occupy. So that Nizbel had a Yakra amount of hit points, which I think is like 680 or 720.
Oh yeah.
As well as like similar speed, physical stats, magic stats. So like knowledge of the vanilla game still helps us prepare for what boss is in that spot, even if we don't actually know, who is going to be there. So like the Yakra spot, lowest HP, weakest spot in the game. The bridge boss, I think, is number 2 on that. No, Hecarim Cave is probably the Hecarim spot's easier. But anyway, so even though we don't know who's going to be there, we still know relatively how hard that spot is going to be. There are some exceptions. Rust Rando, the second dino we can fight, it's normally buried in Giant's Claw dungeon. They have a lot more hit points. They're like the weird exception, but so when we see someone in a spot, as commentators, we and as the runners as well can be pretty confident of who has how many hit points. I see a question from chat as well. Our boss's scale, I think we touched on that. It's based on like their spot. So the farther in the vanilla game, the harder the spot. The random equipment, this is a fun one. So gear will have a plus or minus. +5, -5 are the ranges. And basically the higher tier gear it is, the more of a plus or minus it can have. Pluses mean they have additional stats. They might have an additional effect. Minuses mean they will be worse stats. Maybe they lose a unique effect. So like an infamous one is like, what is it, like waste specs, I think is what they're called. Where it's like minus specs that don't have the prism specs effect. Or a waste helm is a haste helm that doesn't have haste. So that will factor in a little bit, that we might hold on to some gear that might be lower defense, but it has a useful positive benefit like plus magic or plus speed.
And it looks like Phone is doing the desert grind with water too. And St. Vaughn Jester is doing bridge, which let me see, did we catch the key item there? I did not, unfortunately.
I missed the peak. If chat saw it, let us know. Otherwise we can kind of check where they go at the end. This is one we know what it is when the chef like catches us as we're going out the door, but in order to keep it we have to complete. So this is one that's like peekable. We also get a free heal, so we don't have to shelter before this check. The drops for bridge enemies are actually fairly high tier for being available early in the game. So sometimes we can get some good loot because that is like tiered and randomized. And then I know Phone is a big fan of the early desert clear, and he'll usually take the boss here too, even though he can't get the reward because this boss is like 4,000 experience and a decent amount of tech points, pretty good drop. So if it's something easy, might as well.
Oh yeah, and 2 of our runners, Marshana is fighting tonight, which thankfully with water too, since he's usually hanging out in desert, sand is weak to water, so it'll lower his defenses a ton, and that'll help with the physical damage, which Marshana's doing right now with Frog and Marl, which she's doing a surprisingly good amount of damage to Rat Knight as well. And we met Nisbel's cousin here on the bridge here, that just so happened to be in Cathedral also. Also very weak to magic. And we have Antipode, which is doing almost 500 damage. The boss on bridge typically has at least 2,200 hit points, and it's doing 500 about. So I don't really see Saint Juan Jester having too many issues with this boss fight here. Um, well, let's see what is happening in his house here.
Yeah, we
Um,
have some bosses. It's a great observation, and we'll point out with the boss spots where, like, if the spot was a two-part boss, like
mhm,
Thambor, and there's a one-part boss there, the hit points get pooled into the single boss, and then
mhm,
vice versa too. So, like, if we'll use the Yakra as example, if it was the R series fight, the blue robos from the factory, which we only have 4 of them, um, to make that a little bit more reasonable of a fight, they would have the hit points of Yakra divided by 4, which would be like 150 apiece. Not very much. So
ooh,
even where there's like a different amount of spots, now like there's a gotcha where like if the spot is not a part of the boss you have to beat. So like Giga Gaia has those hands. Those hands don't factor into like the hit point math
ooh,
because they're
mhm,
just, they revive and they're not considered like the essential part of the boss.
ooh. We got Magus and Burrow, Frog's Burrow. So, mm, in order to get the character that is there, you would have to have both of the Masamune pieces, and it needs to be forged by Melchior in 1000 AD. Um, he's not required for any key item checks whatsoever. He's very good offensively, but in having the amulet too, which helps nullify all status effects, is very nice to have. So, I mean, if you can get him, that'd be a very good option to grab him just because the amulet does cost 50,000 gold pieces. Um, but he's not required at all for completing the seed. Um,
Yeah, he's an interesting, character, um, where like doesn't have the, has no double or triple text. Those are generally going to do more damage for us than their single text. A nice quality of life feature. Um, and I rolled this off of like the beta website, but
mm,
is that if we're playing, we can hover over a tech description, and up at the top, it will tell us like the damage formula. And so, it might say like level plus magic times 16.5 single target or AoE, right? Like,
mm,
and
mm,
then a lot of the double tech formulas are the formulas for single tech times a damage like multiplier. And so they inherently, even though they're taking 2 turns, they usually do more damage than if those characters did the corresponding single techs
mhm.
individually.
Yeah,
Magus
they'll
is very powerful magic, um, but they just have none of those pairings. So they have a lot of utility. They come with that free amulet. They
mhm.
also take a lot of tech points to get going. So in the beginning,
Oh yeah.
it can be a little bit of like a blessing and a curse because it's like they have pretty good gear and like um, will eventually be useful, but in the very early going, it can be a little bit frustrating to actually get them going.
No, absolutely. But it doesn't look like it'll be too frustrating to get magic for our runners. Um, so with the race seeds, usually we'll only be able to get the first 3 texts for each party member, and that's it. But it looks like the key item that we got from Bridge, which is the Nisbel 2 fight, was the gate key. And what the gate key can do, it can send us to prehistory, 65 million BC, and with that we can do the key item check over in Reptile Lair. But most importantly, um, with that we can get magic unlocked, which will allow us to surpass the first 3 magic texts that all of our party members can get, and it's extremely important. Like with what Fitz said earlier, single target damage is it can be very strong, but with dual techs, especially in this party, we can get Antipode 3 with Mara Luca's dual tech. Um and Frog, he can do line bomb. Um just I believe what is it with Frog and Marl that they can do dual tech? Ice water. That's
They have
also
Ice
not.
Water and Glacier. Um, we got Frog Flare
Hmm.
as
Yeah,
well. Like there's a lot of good pairings. We have 2 healers. Um, this party is slow.
very, very slow.
Frog is our fastest person, and he's at a 10. Like end game, we went like 13 or 14 on our fastest party member. Um,
Hmm.
we did mention the gate key. That definitely lets us unlock magic. There is the Reptite layer check in prehistory. There is a rock spot, which because the rocks are high tier, considered high tier items. In Gear Rando, they can roll some pretty interesting effects. In addition to unlocking the triple techs, we also have a character we can get here in prehistory. It'll be level 15, and they'll have 3 techs unlocked. So sometimes with an early gate key, we'll see runners kind of make a sprint for that character because they'll be way better than the ones we can get from like the front or back of the cathedral. The other check that's open, because when we get access to the end of time, we also get access to 12,000 BC, aka the Ice Age times. And there's my favorite mountain, Mount Woe, there. That's a very end game dungeon, but it has according end game loot and an absolute huge amount of experience for us to get. It's a bit of a trek, so it feels bad if we go all the way through and we get like a jerky as our reward, but I'm a big fan of going early because usually after going there I don't have to worry about getting levels for the rest of the game. But yeah, let's give a quick look in on what's going on here. Phone getting their gate key. Same Jester is heading up the Dactyl Nest and got an Ayla. I think they're coming in the party. Ayla, very versatile, very strong. Doesn't need a weapon. Has great text with everyone. Is fast. I could see booting Frog or Marl, just depending on what we wanted to do. Rashana doing some shopping at the fair. Usually, the initial money, we can't buy enough of our consumables to last the whole game, and so usually we have to re-up on our shelters, our ethers, maybe revives. So Nathan, with an Ayla being found in
Ooh.
at the top of Dactyl's Nest, would you
Okay.
consider changing the party comp? SVJ, known Ayla fan, they were coming in
Hmm.
pretty much no matter what, but curious about your opinion.
Oh, absolutely. I would. I didn't. I mean, Ayla, 100%. If I find her early, she's going to my party. She has a lot of good party combinations with the Doltex. In on Saint Von Jester's side of things, um, there's a very good um, attack that's called conveniently Fire Whirl, which is an AoE attack that you can use that is it's incredibly powerful. But having Ayla in our party also means that I believe she has 12 or 13 speed, which is what we want just in case we might have a Mount Woe key item
Wow.
check where you typically want to have 14 speed before you want to go up there. And we have triple kick and flare coming up very early, which I'd be excited about.
Yeah, I think that Ayla, the decision to go up there, I think SVJ looked to see who was in the burrow as
Mhm,
well.
mm,
So they
yeah,
already knew that Magus was out of the pool. And they did go. Did they go to the back of the? They went to the back of the cathedral too, didn't they?
I don't believe I saw
No,
anybody going back Cathedral.
no. Okay, so we haven't seen that one. So there was at least one known character.
hmm
Um, so it was either going to be Chrono, Robo, or Ayla. Ayla being I think the best one we could have found.
Oh, absolutely.
The
Um,
speed. I love the Frog Luca Ayla party. Although I could also replace Frog with Marl. It would depend on what I wanted more. Frog has an AoE heal eventually, which I love.
me
Um,
too.
but Marl has haste,
She
which
does.
is great. So it's like I could see being like, I'll give up the AoE heal to haste Luca and Ayla and just let him fly. Um, but I could also see going with like more antipode. And if we had more go mode pieces, I might be able to make more of an informed decision, but it's not really clear where we're going.
Oh, yeah, we don't have any idea right now. Um, the well, a cool thing, honestly, dropkick with Frog and Ayla is, I mean, it's an extremely powerful dual tech move that they have. It's a single, it can only affect one target, but with Ayla having so much power and Frog can too, um, he's- yeah, it's tough. Like with Marl having, if she does have haste, which I mean we did unlock magic early, Luca and being particularly a very slow party member, and thankfully in Jets of Time we did buff her speed up to 8. It would be very useful to have Marl in our party here. And Antipode 3, we have the flare, we can get the ice too early, potentially. It's any character in these parties, I would honestly be okay with. Um, um, but I'm curious to see like if maybe Robo was behind Cathedral, which we don't know. Um, I know
I'll
somebody did
check.
clear.
We do know phone went back there, and it was Robo,
Oh,
but they're the
okay.
only one that has the Robo knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Robo knowledge. Oh, we got Dragon Tank over in Reptile Lair. Which I think.
That's actually going to be not that bad because it's going to be a Nizbel amount of hit points, but spread 3 ways.
Mm-hmm.
Um, versus usually whoever's at the dragon tank spot is surprisingly tanky. That was not on purpose. I don't want to be held
No,
accountable for
yeah.
that one.
No, you're okay. It's we're going along with the puns here, I see. No, I get what you're saying though. I mean, Dragon Tank, he's weak to fire of the wheels in the body at least, which I mean, on St. Manchester's side, we have a floating head right now. Um,
Mhm, mhm.
this should be this will be a very quick fight. They can only do a single target attack, and we'll be able to see what key item that we get behind Reptide here very shortly. Um, I think phone is
Phone is
grinding.
hunting ranging.
Yeah.
This is still in the game. The rewards are randomized to be high tier items because I believe we skipped to the like in the vanilla game. There's like two tiers of the hunting grounds, right? Where one of
mhm,
them is like less bits. Um, but
yeah.
we skip straight to like the more bits, and so for two pairs of 10 things we can get some sort of high tier item. We can preview them before. I'm curious if Phone peaked and he saw something like a haste helm or prism specs. There's a couple of items at this point that are worth taking a couple minutes to get because they're going to save us more than that amount of time over the rest of the run. I also know Phone loves to meme, and so
He
might just be
does.
doing it to show that it's a thing you can do. That
I
some it's not always. I'm not always sure when it's worth it, but
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I believe I saw the haste specs over in the hunting
mm,
grounds. But
yeah,
also with Reptite Lair, we did manage to find a hero medal, which unlocks a key item check in Frog's Burrow, which just so happened to be a clone, which is one of the three go mode key items that you need. Um, that would be involved in the Black Omen go mode, where you only need to defeat Queen Zill. You do not have to go after Lavas whatsoever to beat this seed.
yep. But we would need the pendant, the clone, and the
Mhm.
chrono trigger, aka the egg. Um, yeah, the hero medal we can turn in. It also is a buff item for. It's actually way better than the
Ex-
vanilla version of the hero medal. Um, it gives them the magic reduction buff in addition to buffing its damage. Um, it's pretty rare to take the hero medal off of Frog for something
mhm.
else in the relic slot.
Ooh, and Mershana is deciding to go up Mount Woe without Ayla. Um, I'd be. I mean, if you do find Mount Woe really early and just run away from the fights, it is a very quick key item check. Um, and there's also a lot of good items you can find up here, but I think that was nerfed recently. And kind of in favor of people getting incentivized to go into Genodome. But yeah, Marshano decided to go up Mount Woe really early. Um, SVJ checking out Desert. I don't know if he knows that Robo is behind Cathedral, but with uh grinding here, it's only a Guardian, which won't cause him too many issues whatsoever. Um, is going up the Dactyl Nest, which I believe, yeah, you did say that Ayla is up here, um, which would be a good find for Phone. Um, I could see them possibly switching somebody out for Ayla since she's such a good party member. Let's see here.
Yeah, that fire whirl is very good. The tailspin tech that Ayla contributes ignores magic defense. It also, because her natural magic stat is so low, it has a high damage multiplier. So, a kind of fun niche build is if we have high magic tabs, you just give them all to Ayla and let her spin to win over everything. I mean, Fire Whirl will do a lot of damage too, but for the rare thing that Fire won't hurt, uh, she can still deal with it, including like the Lavos core when its shield is up. Tailspin still does full damage too. So it's like rare to get the circumstances to come up, but it's a really fun mage Ayla build. It's a good time.
Oh yeah, it is, and it's really cool to see Gate here early because I mean normally you don't really see anybody pulling the Mount Woe strats super early into a run, so that's really exciting to see. Um, Phone and Mashana both going up there to see what's going on. I mean, this is one of the um Mount Woe was a longer check to do compared to the other ones like Heckern Cave, oh boy, what else? There's Denaduro is a pretty quick one. But it's a longer one, so deciding to do this early is a pretty good play. I did notice that Mershana is struggling a little bit to get up there onto Mount Woe. Um, I think maybe Phone will have an easier time if they do decide to spend some speed tabs on Ayla, considering that they can run away from the fights fairly easy with
Mhm.
14 speed.
Yeah, because if we get our turn first, what we can do is go into like our tech or item menu, and we can still be holding run, and the invisible run bar still charges while we're in the menu, and
Hmm.
so it allows us to quickly escape fights. Which in Chrono Trigger, almost every regular encounter we can run from. There's like a couple of exceptions. Many of them through particular movement, which we haven't really talked about. It's hard to pay attention to with three people
Oh, absolutely.
sometimes. Uh, but by using like particular movement, we can avoid the trigger for an encounter entirely. Um, there's a couple on the Dactyl Nest that are kind of finicky. Some of, like, I would say half of them is like once we learn the movement, it's like easy peasy.
Oh,
And then the
yeah.
other half are like they take a little bit of trial and error. Some people like to just practice the skips. I just slowly learn them through racing
Oh.
over time. But
Yeah.
yeah, Mao Wo is honestly like, and battle speed can be a factor here. Um,
Hmm.
uh, I find my reflexes are not fast enough on battle speed 2. Even with 14 speed, is like can be a coin flip if I can get in the, well, on a good day I can do it, but
No, yeah, I get you. Like, I mean, there's options in the menus that we have to put our cursor speed to go to tech first. Um, but you're right. Like, menuing in this game it's very important in order to escape from these fights that are early. Um, I mean, it's yeah, you do have to be quick, and it's really difficult to do. Um, and I also want to point out here that Saint Von Jester is going up Denadura Mountain, which is there's a little divergence that we got going on here now, and we're talking about how mountains are extremely nice,
excellent. What do
which
you mean?
we got our magic tab from our our friend there, which are pretty decent. They rolled +2. I would talk to our friend there about the mountains to grab that there. Um, SVJ just pumping in those power tabs into Ayla, which I don't blame them for considering that they did roll a +4. And if you have a triple kick early, you take advantage of that.
Yeah, this is really our first peek. And we talked about encounter skips. So here's one of them where there's this bird, he throws rocks. You want to get this rock. And then if we time it particularly so we approach the ladder when they're towards the top, we avoid 2 consecutive fights there. So it's just like that's like one example. There's several of them in Denadoro. This one is for me was like the easiest place to learn all of them and be able to do them consistently. And then I find I oftentimes skip here now just because it's like it's kind of long. The fights don't really give us anything. The loot is kind of low tier, and the boss up here is hard for the opening bosses we have available.
It is. We're with the grind that we did get from Desert, and I mean, Masamune, each of them only have 1,000 hit points, which Lucas Flare right there did 1,400. That takes both of them out very quickly. So we're gonna see what our next potential boss is gonna be here right now, and it's one of the mutants. I don't know which one.
Terra.
Terra mutant, which are very weak to magic. I would be very happy to have Luca with my party right now with Flare, and having a Marl as a support. And since this boss fight is a two-parter, Masamune, like the hit points are split in half here, since it's usually a one-part boss and that's it. I could see this going fairly quickly, to be honest with you.
But early on, this spot would absolutely put us into the ground. And I will point out, because the bottom part of Terra Mutant is you can't kill it. That's actually just a one-part boss in terms of like the hit points. So one of the mutants you have to kill both parts, but that is one then. You kill the top and the bottom one just.
As SVJ managed to get a speed tab off the Terra Mutant.
That boss does have pretty high drops.
And speaking of drops, we're getting a key item check right now in Danadoro, which is the pendant.
So SVJ's got 2 pieces of Black Omen Go mode.
Yeah, we need the pendant in order to access future, which in order to do that, we have to talk to the... Oh, but wait a second. We're getting Robo here as well. SVJ is routing into this as well before turning independent. We're gonna see the forest here restored in 1000 AD. That's, I mean, they cleared out desert already. They have Robo. We're gonna get another check here really soon.
Yeah, I think it totally makes sense. You know, I might as well do it before we're changing time anyway. If we're gonna go do that trial, I don't think we can hit another. No, we have a sword piece, don't we? We could hit it right here.
Yeah, there's a sword piece at Snail Stop, I believe. Let's see. Thomas Pop. That's tough. With Thomas Pop, we can dump it on the grave for our boy Toma, which gives us access to Giant's Claw and 600 AD. But SVJ is opting to go to Future, which gives him the opportunity to find a key item check over in Protodome. And there's also very high level items behind the doors in Future, which you need to have the pendant to unlock. They can have goodies, which, I mean, I've seen speed tabs, the rainbow prism checks. I mean, the possibilities are endless here to find some really good stuff behind these doors here.
So we're coming up on a very important part of the game. I'm one free Fitz. and I descend from a merchant in 1000 AD by the name of Fritz, who, because they have similar color hair to Chrono, were arrested for kidnapping. Some in the community claim that they're a criminal or whatever, but normally, in order to actually get the reward for saving Fritz, we have to have Chrono in the party. We save Fritz, and then we can go to their shop. They give us 10 mid-ethers, and we can also access their shop. But I always save Fritz if I have the opportunity. So far, it hasn't lost me a race. And I'm going to continue to lobby to make that cutscene as short as possible. Be like, do we need dialogue there? Can he just be like, thanks? And then...
Just like, oh, thank
we're
you.
out.
It's like it saved you from...
Because they did shorten the reward scene. Because, like, you talk to Fritz, like, his dad comes in and, like, grumbles or whatever, and then Fritz is like, here's these mid-ethers, and, like, don't tell my dad or whatever. They, like, cut out some of those text boxes, so it was like, well, we can make the reward faster.
Yeah, and I mean, SVJ is saving Fritz here, so I mean, if we do find
He
Chrono...
knows that I will write a sternly worded email if he does not. It's the advantage of being on comms is I can warp that decision into my favor. They know who's watching.
Oh, I know. I mean, anytime, I mean, if I'm racing and you're on comms, I mean, yeah, I don't feel the wrath of not freeing Fritz, so I'm just gonna go for it. Yo, we got Flea up on top of Mount Woe, which,
Is
man,
Rego or
it's regular Flea. It's
this
the
is a
more
dangerous
difficult one.
situation here.
Mhm.
The worst thing about Flea is when they get below half health, they can counter with this stare attack. It's AoE. It hits really hard. If this party isn't at full health on Morshana's side, it might wipe them. The good news is if one party member is down, that counter is disabled. So oftentimes, if someone goes down on the first stare, it's usually better, and I love using the use of re-raise here. Like
Me
head.
too.
It's usually better to just let them go down and finish the fight with two. Flea plus, I always try to enunciate air quotes there because Flea plus doesn't have any status protection, and so they can just be completely taken out of the fight.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned re-raise there. For those of you that don't know, I believe it's Life that Marl's tech pool. We took Life out and replaced it with re-raise, and what re-raise does is that she can cast that spell on anybody in the party, and if they happen to get knocked down in any way, it acts like the Green Dream accessory, which will revive them automatically right on the spot. And it's very useful against Flea right now since, as you said, the stare ability it's very scary, and just having that extra protection there, it would give me a huge confidence boost here and to be able to get through this fight.
Yeah, definitely. SVJ had to fight Giga Gaia tank. Not a problem. Took it out pretty easy. I'll give a moment here. We're kind of at the halfway-ish point. We don't really know until we get all the pieces, but
Oh yeah.
we'll give a little spotlight on our runners here. So Phone is an absolute enthusiastic community member. They definitely are always down to try to get a restream going. They've done some they do vodcasts of things that we can't have a live stream going for. they're always down to race. Like if you are hop in the Discord race room and you're like, somebody want to race? Like Phone will probably say like yes. Or if you are streaming Jets of Time for the first time, a Phone will probably show up in your chat and be helpful, without backseating. He's very
Oh,
good
yeah.
at that.
Mhm.
Mershana, we kind of came into the game in the same like cohort, if you will. We were both campers in the first Camp Specchio. They went to WoW early, and they've said this in like interviews too. We had like the first time I was raced in a marathon, it was Jets of Time, and it was against Mershana, and like a couple other community members like encourage us to like help us put together a submission and like do it. And so I went early WoW in that race, and it really paid off, because even though I had to wind back and do some checks that I had skipped, I had the levels to like kind of catch up from behind. And so ever since then, it was like Marshana was converted to the like go early WoW. I think we saw a good example of like the speed difference that you mentioned, where because Phone had Ayla, he was able to just more quickly run from fights he didn't want to take.
Oh, no
Luca just
way.
doesn't, unless we have like a speed boosting item. There's just not enough speed tabs out there to get like Luca or Morrow fast enough to deal with
Phone?
Mount Woe. But the other sword piece was up there, wasn't it?
It sure was, yeah. And we have Frog in our party. This smells like a Magus Castle Go mode.
Yeah, we don't really have like a quick check to like go do and see if we get something else, you know? Like they have the gate key,
Mhm.
but I don't think they have either Ruby Knife or Dreamstone, so there's still 2 away there.
Yeah.
They haven't found the pendant on Denadoro. That's not exactly a fast check anyway. Phone showing off, you can go get a reward. It's the Prism Shard from Son of Sun in the future there. So sometimes Magus Castle, I would say out of the 3 is a longer go mode because we have to complete all of Magus Castle and then do the Ocean Palace. Tyranno Lair is relatively shorter,
Mhm.
as well as like the Omen mode. It's not like that big of a difference to where if we spend too long trying to not do Magus Castle, we might lose the race, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
But in certain scenarios where if we are one away from another one and we could go do um you know, like one of the
like,
faster checks, it might be worth it to like try. So Golem.
yeah.
That won't be bad here.
Oh no, and it's not. And yeah, like you said, I don't recall them ever finding the Ruby Knife or the Dreamstone, which would be required for the Tyranno Lair Go mode. Um, I mean, at this point of the run, I mean, if I have a Go mode already, I would just, I mean, do what the name implies and just go for the Max Castle Go mode. We
Yeah.
have both the sword pieces and frogs in our party too. We can go straight through Magus's lair here and proceed up through Zeal's palace, get through there, and go through Ocean Palace and defeat Lavos here.
No, definitely. I saw a question from chat around phone recruiting Magus. I think that was to get the amulet. Like, and I think that's
Mhm.
worth the time. We're not guaranteed to be able to buy one, although we could. And we're gonna. The only time we need status protection is when we really need it, right? Which is
Lavos.
Lavos. And we'll talk. We'll talk about all the bad stuff that they do as they get a little bit closer. I want to make sure I pay attention to what SVJ gets, because if they pull the Chrono trigger here,
Mhm.
it's a wide open race right now.
Oh yeah,
And
it's
even if they find it within like another check, I would say, in terms of where, we're actually starting to be able to maybe know who's in the lead.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, right now, we won't know. I mean, if hey, you could be right. SVJ could find that. I think we need the chrono trigger. It looks like
Mhm.
he found an accessory that had a +1 speed on it too, with
Nice.
protect all, which is fantastic to have. Um, yeah, Magus Castle, like you said, it's it's one of the longest of the three go modes that we have going on here. Tyranno Lair being the shortest, but um, let's see. Yeah, we have Phone and Marshana going through Magus Castle right now. They're heading to their end game right now. We're I'm curious to see what we're gonna have on SVJ side of things here. It'll be a minute, and we'll see what they get from uh, our friend here, the old man. And I mean, if they do find Black Omen go mode, I mean, it's just a short trip away from going to Pelthazar and just making that trip up there.
Yeah, and I'll try to point out, some of the more interesting like skips that we'll see as we close. Oh, it's
No, no.
Grand Leon,
Yeah,
which is a crisis mune,
it's
which is
it,
not, it's not the
uh,
best, but that's not what he was looking for. I
mm-mm.
think I'm trying to think of SVJ's board and like where he could go. That's not the route. Like, so he could do. He's not gonna do. He's leaving the future, so he's skipping. I think we're doing Giant's Claw
Oh yeah, we're doing Giant's Claw.
because he does. That was one that I don't think the others have.
Mm-mm.
Um, and I
Which I mean,
think when we're talking about what's shorter or longer, I think there's an assumption around consistent execution. I think different runners, just through experience or practice or preference, might be able to like consistently avoid the encounters in one of the go modes, better. Like Magus Castle, there's a person in the community, Lord Batsy. We do affectionately call it Batsy Castle just because in tournaments they seem to pretty reliably end up there, so much to the point that they live there, and we we call
yeah,
it Batsy Castle, and you gotta wipe your feet on the carpet when you're
yeah,
coming in. But
we are men.
so like I know it's changed over time for me, where like I think Magus Castle was the first one again that I could consistently get all of the encounter skips in here. But over time, as I learned the other ones, I don't really have a strong preference.
Uh, yeah, me either. I mean, to be honest with you, I feel like Magus Castle is the most common go mode that we do end up getting. I also noticed too that both of the bosses that we do have here, um, one of them is Mud Imp, which fairly easy with the party we have, since you technically only have to take out the Mud Imp, and that's it. We have Flare and all the other good magic spells that we need to take him out fairly quickly. And Zombor is also in the equation here, which I mean he's in the mid game here, and I wouldn't be really too worried about him here. Um, let's I mean, yeah, it's I mean I'm hoping SVJ can find something really nice here for him. Like I mean, hopefully it'd be for the Black Omen go mode, since we have
Mhm.
the 2/3 for it already, and Link Tyranno, like you said, we still only have the gate key, and that's all we got going for that. It is the fastest go mode, but I mean, both of our other runners, Marshana and Phone, they're already on the second boss of Magus Castle go mode already.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. There's
mhm,
definitely still a lot of run. Their go modes. They are gonna have to deal with the double boss spot. Which there can be some bad stuff there. Honestly, getting vanilla there is maybe one of the worst. I
yeah.
was uh did a little kind of like mentored run with the Worlds Collide runner at Drinks Glue
Mhm.
a little bit back, and they were like, "Well, give me like the beginner flags," and so I was like, "Well, I should probably not do boss rando," and then I
Oh
forgot
no.
about, and we had a ocean, so we were going in there, and I was like, "Oh shoot, like, okay, do we have males? Like, this is about to be really hard, and we might have to do this fight like 3 or 4 times before we get through
Yeah.
it."
Oh no.
And I mean, that's
No.
kind of how it went down, but it was just like I'm so used to the boss rando that like I just forgot about what was at that spot, and then it was just like, oh no, they're really bad there. Like they're fast, they hit hard, like they do the counter things, like it's just like, and if we don't have like a
Yeah.
male that absorbs damage, that we can just like get them in like ice mode, and then just have one person, like that's what we ended up doing. Where I was like, that's kind of how the golem fight goes. Is like, hope you have an elemental male and can make it happen, and then just like slowly
Yeah, like using your
down.
fire and ice spells for the golem there, and that would make it a really easy boss fight if you had the red or blue male. We got a boss fight coming up in Giant's Claw, which is another mutant, which is the Giga Mutant. Um,
This one, I think we have to kill. We'll see. This
I believe.
this one's a
I
both parts, but I think this one can take physical damage. I might be wrong. I get them mixed up. And
Oh,
generally, in a run, I'll just be like, all right, okay, let's talk about. I'm gonna turn the phone screen real quick. So
hmm
these little green guys, as long as we're not moving, they go through us. So this is like the first, I would say. I call this Donkey Kong Room 1. This
Yeah,
precise movement, he's doing it so fast I can't even explain it, but he did hit the last pit. Maybe on purpose. There's a tab down here. There's 4 treasures. Um, but it's possible to scoot through that room and miss all the pits.
yeah.
On
There's yeah,
Mershana's side, there's this gauntlet here, but we can run from all of the fights in this one. Which is not versus. It doesn't feel intuitive. I think when I was new to this, that I was like, "Oh, you can run through this like whole room."
I know playing. I mean, I think I can vouch for a lot of people here playing through vanilla. I didn't know you could really run away from fights until I started playing Jets. um, let's see. Yeah. I mean, maybe. Uh,
There we go.
yeah, we got it. We got it.
I think they wanted to go down for loot there. All right, so this one is a lot of things, and we have to run out real fast right away from the door. And for these birds, generally, um, it's like, oh, what is it? It's not. We can't hold left. We have to use the diagonal of that ledge to like hold up to go left. There's a lot of skips that involve
There's so many like
using a diagonal wall to move right or left, which won't do a trigger. So like here, if we hold straight up, bird doesn't get us. If we hold left at all, bird gets us. This one's like a weird. We use the party to make the bird go off the path, and then again,
yeah,
if we hold up, we skip that one. So this one's a hard
there's
room because there's a lot going on.
there's so much in Magus Castle. Like you
Donkey
were
Kong 2 is really like, once we get that one down, I think we can do Magus Castle with confidence, because these bird enemies we can't run from. I think they're one of the few.
Yeah, this fight here
I
you
think
can't.
they got their go mode based on the fact that they're here. So Giant's Claw.
Oh, we got
Which
a
means
black.
if they would have chased the pop when they got it,
Oh, we got a black omen go mode. That's awesome.
right? They would have been. It wouldn't have made any sense, but
Yeah,
this
I'm
is like
no.
a hindsight thing because they would have needed to do the trial after doing Giant's Claw anyway. But it's just one of those quirks of like it's gonna be rough on the rewatch to be like, well, if I would have just. Sometimes the gut is like has like a wild whisper of like follow the pop, you know. And it's just
Oh,
like there's
oh,
no logic, there's no reasoning behind it.
the pop does what it wants. It's Giant's Claw is such a play. You have to commit to it. Um,
But I will say, if like SVJ can execute well in their go mode, we're still in for like a very close race. I think Phone and Mershana still have a level edge.
yeah, it's yeah, like you said, it's really close here. I mean,
Swag
on
tab.
Swag Tab, let's go.
That was a safe swag tab.
No, that was awesome.
So it's possible to like get that tab, and then make it to the tree in one cycle. Also, we don't have to talk to the doll to turn it into a tree. It works just in doll form. Phone showing off. There's a bunch of fights we can skip by running outside of the statues and then diagonal left at those stairs. And they're at the Aussie fight. These I'm blanking on the word. They're not cranes.
Like cranks or something.
Cranks. They drop stuff. Are we gonna
Mhm.
charm them? Oh, we don't have charm. Dang it.
I was hoping that too.
I'm a charm fiend. Sometimes when I get it early, it's like I charm everything. Like
Yeah, it's really nice. Like you can find really good stuff here with charm. I mean, there's been speed tabs and lots of other goodies here.
Interesting.
You'd say charm brings out the best in people, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw an interesting thing on Morshana's screen where I think she had recognized that her timing was off to skip that first bird, and so she used the trailing party member move to make that bird go off of the path. So that was
Yeah.
like a really great recovery instead of taking the fight there that I would have never thought. Like usually if I think I've beefed it, I just go back and turn around and try again. But now I learned something.
Yeah. No, that's a weird spot because I think like that bird, based on where like your third party member is, that's where it'll decide to like, oh, I'm gonna go off course here a little bit, and that's when you can run past it and avoid that fight. Um, but I'm let's see, I have a feeling this is gonna be pretty close. So if those of you that don't really know Jets too well, you if you do manage to get the Black Omen Go mode, which Saint Von Jester does have, um, you do have to go up Death Peak first. Um, we what Jets has done is they did take out two of the mini bosses here just to make this Go mode a little bit faster. Um, but Silver Stud, nice. You don't have to defeat Lavos if you find Black Omen Go mode. You just have to take out Queen Zeal, and the seed will end there. And I mean, that'll be the end of the race for SVJ once they take out Zeal. No Lavos, but Mershana and Phone are gonna
Oh
have to
no,
take out the big bad.
the dark prehistoric magician. So I think this is the real reason sometimes that Magus Castle is a little bit less popular. Is this fight is kind of high variance because if Magus doesn't want to go into an element that you can hit, this fight can take a long time. And
Oh yeah.
even if your opponent is going through the same go mode, you know, like if Morshana gets more fire or ice, then phone, you know, they might save 90 seconds, 2 minutes on that Magus
Yeah,
fight.
it's this is RNG dependent. Yeah, like you're saying.
Now, you know, we have triple kick, we have physical attacks, tailspin always works. Like
Yeah,
there are definitely ways.
Yeah, like in this case here, we don't have anybody in our party that can use lightning, but
Mhm.
we got our physical attacks, which the triple kick. I mean, that's gonna do a beefy amount of damage here. And, I mean, it's better than nothing.
Yeah, I'm just peeking on SVJ. They got a slash regular here, which is gonna hit pretty hard. But they got
Oh,
him.
nice.
This will be funny when they push and climb him. But yeah, like if it, like easily like right now, if Magus went fire, like a frog flare would do an absurd amount of damage. But it's that's kind of the like for me personally is like it feels like it's got the most randomness
It
out of
does.
go modes, and when I think when you start to get to like the competitive level, we start to seek ways to like mitigate randomness because this randomizer we accept an amount of it, but
Means like we want the least amount of randomness that we can get here.
there's like a Goldilocks zone of like it's enough random so it doesn't feel like the same thing every time, but it's not so random that it doesn't feel like completely arbitrary what action I take relative to my time. So
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know how a lot of these are sages of randos
oh boy, yeah, I mean,
like
it's
determine it, and it's played through play testing and feedback, and there's a lot of factors, but it's just very interesting like to think about of like vanilla speed running was like my gateway to racing randos because I enjoyed it, but I was like I'm kind of tired of grinding like the same actions and
oh,
just
me
trying to
too.
do them like faster and more efficiently slash hope. Wow.
The 3600 blaze kick.
Yeah, we are in the second phase, so it took a while, but we finally got Magus to drop there. No, that was actually now we're in the second phase. We finally got him to drop their defense. That must have been a fire cycle.
Yeah, Ayla's casting her prehistoric spells here, which is I think depending on who you do get here, you can get anybody. Like, and we just got Ayla here. I think it's the Grand Stone, which is her version of Black Matter. Which, oh man, you don't want to.
We didn't want to see it, but we didn't see it.
So we didn't see it, thankfully. Thankfully.
Tailspin, Fire Whirl, online. So we'll watch on Mashana's side as SVJ is going into the Omen here. Kind of how their Magus fight plays out.
Yeah, this is very close.
Very, very close.
Like,
and the relay race itself is still like, between first and third is a 3-minute margin. So it's not every second's gonna count. I said this on like towards the end of the first one. It's like even if someone finishes first, it's like really getting the lowest possible time for the team, which is a little bit different than in like a one-on-one or like a winner take all sort of race because a lot of times it's like you see that done and then it's like, oh, okay, well, like what am I still playing at this point? This one's like, no, I still gotta like
I gotta pass the baton here on to the next person.
and yeah, and like Lavos is not necessarily, there's some randomness there too, so like we're not out of the woods, and key factors I think between Phone and Mershana as well as like how long do they spend at this shop here, how much grinding do they do at the grind spot,
And Phone is
Getting a
Packing
rock.
a rock, yeah. Like, what are we? It's a blue
Ooh,
lock plus, which is involved in the gear randomizer also.
barrier shield.
Which I mean, that's not bad. But that gold stud's really nice.
Indeed. Yeah, I haven't been seeing Ayla Magus doing a whole lot of favorable elements over on Mershana's side, unfortunately.
Oh. Oh
And
yeah.
they don't have Ayla, so Frog is probably their main kind of doer of damage.
They're gonna have to rely on
They're gonna
the
have to
Masamune doing its magic defense reduction to Ayla here, and hoping for either a fire,
or
ice,
Shadow.
or shadow.
I think
And
Shadow would be the best because the Antipode is Shadow.
yeah,
Restore. Pretty good. Amulet, Megas, Elixirs.
yeah. That's a pretty nice shop. It's not too bad. Um,
And they were pretty quick in and out. So they do have our first our first Ocean Palace bosses. Before we get in, we've got the throne, the one golem spot.
yeah, we're gonna check out who this boss here is in throne room, which will not be Gollum. Um, and it looks like phone is really nicely leveled here too at 31. So I don't suspect them being at the grind spot for
They,
honestly not
I don't know if they are. They might just go.
knowing phone. They're gonna go for it, I believe.
Usually, and this is like, I think I would advise like learning newer players, like when in doubt, level it out, get a couple more.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think like when we're like competing and there's the classic depends, what gear do we have? Like, does everyone have prism specs? We don't need as many levels. Like, do we have gold earrings? Well, that's a lot of hit points. We don't need as many levels. There's a lot of like,
Yeah.
what's our gear like? Like, what are our techs like?
Yeah, it's
Um,
like the
but I think
yeah,
like 31, 32, like hitting the stairs or heading out of like that grind spot is like usually like a benchmark or a guideline
oh yeah.
that a lot of
Like
people are looking at. But if you go to Mount Woe and fight a lot of stuff, we can see that we're already there, and so
yeah, you get that nice XP from all the fights up on Mount Woe. They do give a lot of tech points there too. Um yeah, it's yeah, Hecarim's down already over on phone side and did not take awfully long. Um they're descending into the Ocean Palace and, get to maybe hear some nice bops here going on along the way. Um Yeah, and also what's is pretty cool about Jets is the twin boss fight. Uh, I mean, you can either love it or hate it. I know a lot of people back in the day had Dalton show up there a good bit,
hmm hmm
which I'm very fortunate I was not a part of. Um,
yeah, there used to be
but
like a quirk where they were showing up like more than they were supposed to. They still could, and
oh yeah,
if Owen was in chat watching this race, he would be calling for Dalton Plus. If you're feeling nice, you would be asking for a Golem Boss.
yeah,
Other very bad things, Double Flea would be bad.
very.
Double
I
Golem we
saw
talked about. Uh, what else?
what else would be bad here? Honestly, I think what you were talking about was the
Those are the
worst of
main.
the worst. Um, yeah, I don't see. Yeah, this is the grind spot here that we were talking about where phone's at right now. Um, You get 80 tech points from this spot, so if you're ever feeling like that you don't have enough spells or you want to just like hang out here for a little bit and get some level ups, this is where you want to be. Going up and down those stairs here and just doing it over and over. Especially seeing magic tabs +2 dropping from them. But Phone is opting to just take the fights as they're going down here and getting their experience that way, which is very valid considering they're level 32, 33 already, which by the time you get to Lavos, you'd really want to be at around level 35-ish.
Yeah, and it's still gonna be scary at that level.
Yeah.
That's just what to make it like manageable. Just kind of looking at the other two runners,
Yep.
Mershana is just getting the worst luck here, like lightning over and over and over again for their elements. So they're like just doing what you can, which is keep making it change. We're seeing there's an upcoming fight where the elevator where we have to do a bunch of fights we can't run from. The last one in particular can take a long time unless we have certain things, one of them being a move called Dino Tail, which Ayla has. It does more damage the less hit points we have, so Phone took themselves all the way down to 1
Oh, yeah.
and are going to just call upon the giant Dino Tail to
Do its business. It's
do its business. The new shop for SVJ, Mega Elixirs, very similar to the premium new shop in Ocean Palace. It's like they're in cahoots or something.
Yeah, they've got a little side gig going on here. Yeah, it's oh, I think no, Mershana should be almost done.
I think
Yeah,
they're in the second phase finally. Yeah, they got there finally.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
That was rough. I mean, that was a classic example of like what I was talking about, where it was just like they were just getting cycled into elements they couldn't take advantage of. So you end up in this like long, like plink, plink, plink until you get what you want. And like, I didn't see a shadow once.
Me either.
Like, it was rough.
Yeah, and I mean, that's one of the benefits to having a physical attacker like Ayla on your team is, I mean, if they cast lightning, well, you can always count on another tech like triple kick or cat attack or something along those lines to at least do something. But I know you were talking about elevators earlier. I just wanted to bring up something for jets specifically. In Black Omen, there's a possibility that you won't get any fights at all when you're going through the elevators. Or, I mean, you could also get all 3 of them. So I believe that was changed, like, for, like, each seed, no matter, like, what the runners got, they would get the same amount of fights. Because I know at races in the past, like, I mean, it's been determined by, like, oh, well, this person only had, like, 2 fights while the other had none at all. So, I mean, pretty nice change to that where on Black Omen, not Ocean Palace, I mean, you'll have the same amount of fights as the other person, and it's somewhat more on an even playing field there. I mean, it's really close. I mean, I think St. Von Jester is about halfway. They're almost getting to the point where they're getting to the boss gauntlets coming up here. And Phone, the second to last fight here on his elevator, it looks like Mershana is shopping for some items, which is not a bad idea. You want to be safer than sorry. You don't want to go to Lavos without, like, some, with especially heals.
You need MP restoring. That feels bad when I've just run out of MP on the way to Lavos. So like re-upping on like ether shelters, I usually want like 5 revives, having Marl would mitigate that because she has a life spell and re-raise as well, but um, I don't know if she can go down. So we need to have a couple to be able to get somebody back up if she's not
Yeah.
around.
It's very scary going to a Lavos fight with only 1 or 2 revives. Um, well, mm, yeah, I mean, all of our runners now are they're proceeding through. We got the key items that we needed to go to our respective go modes. We're getting through the final bouts here of the Ocean Palace. Black Omen phone doing a nice skip there, by the way, with the Cyclops. We're getting to the end here, where we're gonna get to Zeal and Lavos here very shortly. And yeah, all of our runners they're doing really well here.
Well, before we get into the final set, then I'm going to drop a quick reminder that we are indeed raising money for the Burn Children's Fund out of South Carolina. It is South Carolina. Now I have to double check. Yes, it is. Okay, cool. My cat nap has not done as much as I'd hoped. Sorry. So I'm going to drop the command into chat here. If you happen to be willing and interested, there are the donation links in there. Otherwise, though, I'm going to slip back off to the side here and let you two get back to calling the end of this particular run here.
Yeah, sounds good. We have double Nisbel. They're not really going to be too much of a problem, I think, for either Phone or Mershana. St. Von Jester is going to start to get to their kind of final boss gauntlet here. I noticed they were taking a few fights along the way to kind of get up to the similar sort of levels that we would be looking for.
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, especially with the boss fights going on here, which we do have Atropos here in one of the first gauntlet bosses here in Black Omen. I mean, they'll be fine. SVJ is going to be completely okay in this fight. They do give a lot of experience and tech points, and they'll be able to catch up here on the levels and their tech points fairly easy here, and not having to deal with going through any grind spots or things like that. Phone did finish the twin fight, like you said, fairly easily here, since Nisbel is weak to magic, and that's what we're rolling with right now with the girl team going on right now. Level 35 and 34 going in the Lavos 1 here. I don't really know what gear Phone has going on here, but I mean, we're checking now. Amulets, yeah. Amulets do protect from all status effects, so whenever we get the chaos going on here, we won't have to worry too much about what's going on. So yeah, the nitty gritty is about to be going on here.
Yeah, Phone entering the final boss, which, we can't have a JRPG without having a multi-phase final boss. So we have 3 parts of Lavos that we have to get through. They get progressively more dangerous as the Jets of Time channel has pointed out in chat. Lavos is arguably the harder of the 2 final bosses we have to face. I would say in particular the second and the third phase can both present challenges in ways that the Zeal fights they're just more predictable because they follow a much more rigid script where particularly at the end, the third phase of Lavos, what they do does follow a script, but because some of it is based on what time period they warp to. We can tell based on the background what the middle part is going to do, but it's not always the same what time periods they shuffle through.
Oh yeah,
From remembering prehistory, we hate
the
because that's what it
most.
does. The big physical grand stone attack, we also don't like. Is the future the other one, or is it Ice Age?
Um,
Because there's a big magic attack that's associated with. Now I'm
I
blanking.
mean, there's several scary
They're
ones. I
mostly
mean,
all bad. It's safer to take down like that middle part a lot of the time. I'll be curious to see what approach. We have mostly magic damage, so I imagine that'll probably be what
oh
phone
yeah,
does.
going for that middle bit there. Yeah, I mean, yeah, phone already making it through Lavos 1. I mean, let's see, we got Lavos 2 coming up here. The only thing with this party I'd be concerned about is the the banana attacks.
Mhm.
Um, they deal very, very high physical damage. I mean, it's especially with Marley or Luca. I wouldn't really worry about Ayla too much with that attack. I mean, it's pretty scary.
Mhm.
Um,
They just don't have very high hit points, and so
mhm.
the wrong combination of. 'Cause we're always gonna get lasered, and then depending on our speed, the bananas, the laser boomerangs, the laser bananas. Everyone calls them something a little bit different. Um,
Curious to see what phone's gonna do here first. Flare.
but yeah, on this part, the two arms we need to destroy in order to be able to harm the head. The usual exception to this is tailspin always works on the head. All right, we got to spread out. That's good.
Yeah.
Pretty much no one can survive taking two of those attacks. I'm gonna do
Yeah, I
some
mean,
mitigation here. Re-raise versus heal. They're basically the same thing anyway. Like a
yeah,
cure
I
two
mean,
or a re-raise.
yeah, that did some hefty damage to Luca, like 414, I think. Yeah, which is definitely way more than what
Mm-hmm.
we can afford taking two of. And we got Dalton over on SVJ's side of things going on.
Just one.
Um, just one, fortunately. Um,
This is like a. There's a lot of hit points here because this is the. Is this the elder
um,
spawn spot?
I think this is the mutant
Or is
spawn.
this a mutant spot? Okay. Either way, like, yeah, this will be an interesting fight. The
Oh yeah.
the counters are pretty bad. He'll do a couple of weak orb attacks in between, and then he'll do a strong orb attack, which usually just knocks someone down. Um, Back on the Lavos side, we saw the obstacle. The status effect is randomized. It looked
Hmm.
like it was sleep. Um, Once we see
Awesome.
that, their defense is down, and we just gotta chew through a cool 10k
Cool.
exp.
Cool.
They kind of follow a predictable script of the flame battles. They'll do the poison thing, and they'll do
Their
the shadow
obstacle.
doom, like blaze, and then repeat. And if we're unfortunate enough that we're still in this fight, they'll charge up and start to get ready to do a mega move. I've never gotten past that, but I'm sure it's bad.
Oh, it's awful. Evil emancipation, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
But
but phone made it through.
they are through in the transition between these tiers. It is possible to get in the menu. It's not supposed to be. Um, there's a way to do it with sound, and there's a way to do it with like visual cues. I know the visual way mainly, which is after the screen goes white, once it goes completely black, hold menu.
There we go.
If we hit it too early, we'll miss it because we get locked out. I think that's usually where newer runners miss it, is by being too early. We have a flag to make the window bigger, and that's usually on in like the learning flag sets, but these are all seasoned veterans, so.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're on levels 3. On phone side. And for those of you that maybe don't know, the enemy on the right side is actually like the main Lava's core that we want to take down. It has 20,000 hit points. But what we're concerned about right now is the middle bit there that mainly initiates like the big heavy attacks. Like in this phase here, like he time warped to 1000 AD, which means that if they do pull an attack off here, that there's a possibility that your party will be affected by status effects. And one of those, I mean, they're completely random. You do not want stop. Stop is the worst one to get, which fortunately, phone did get through that.
Yeah, stop is bad. Honestly, slow is really bad. Like, because by the time that we recover from it, we haven't taken a lot of turns, and we've been like getting attacked while having to toss out heals.
Yeah,
like I would say generally the middle bit can wipe the whole party, and when left to just these two, they will just like single target attack, which can still get out of control if we're not kind of like taking our turns wisely and like seeing what they do. But
you gotta pay attention.
Need like 5 of these, I think.
Let's see. At least, yeah.
5 plus a little nudge of something else.
Did we get a vanilla here in Black Omen?
Or is this the baby?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it's an elder spawn.
Not like I mean, because we're gonna have to do our single target stuff, so it's just gonna be like blaze kick.
Oh yeah, it's no issues here at all. Lava's bit is revived, but the right side's defense is still down, which you don't want to attack the right side when its defense is up, or else you're gonna be doing at least like maybe 40 damage, and that's it.
Yeah, we still have some time to be able to. Oh, Marl does have a crisis bow, I think.
Ooh.
Not that it really matters, but he's gonna need a couple more bow shots, I think. There we go.
Wow, that tailspin did it. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Let's see. I gotta record this. Official time of. No, that's a career day race. 1:41:31.
Yay. GG's to phone. GG's.
But it's about the time total, not the wins.
Yep.
So Marshana's team was coming into this with like a 3-minute lead. And then SVJ's squad was coming into this a couple minutes behind of the lead, but the World Collide race, they've picked some interesting flags, so I think there's some potential there.
Oh, that's
for some teams to make up some time in that final race.
And that is Final Fantasy VI, right?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
No, it's Final Fantasy left.
Ooh.
Because it's the only one left in the relay. You're welcome.
Oh, cool.
It's 4 in the morning.
No, it's okay. It's 5 here.
Yeah, we will
Uh,
we'll continue. Actually, like, yeah, SVJ is about to get into their final fights. We've got phone plays in chat. What do they miss? Any wacky strats? Well, St. Von Jesser definitely took a different path, I would say. Phone and Roshana,
yeah.
similar paths, except for they never went up Dactyl Nest to get that character. There's a little bit of it. I think y'all had a different order for things, but
Yeah, SV
SVJ went Denadoro, which had Pendant, and the Robo Check granted Toma's Pop, which they eventually cashed in for the last piece of the Black Omen Go
Black
mode.
Omen. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, you and Mushana were at WoW relatively at the same time. Um, the hunting, yeah, that was you were the one doing. I wouldn't say wacky. You were pulling out some of the deeper bag of tricks.
That was honestly pretty nice to see the hunting grounds, because not gonna lie, I never see that strat go down. I mean, it was worth it though. I mean, you got the haste specs out of it. I think, yeah, Rashana, believe finished off the twin fight.
Yeah, they're gonna be heading into their final fights. A little bit different party comp, but I think we're gonna see more Antipode 3, more Frog as a healer.
Ooh, is that gonna hurt? It did, but they're all still up. Um, the Mammoth Machine managed to pull off that very icky move that they've got going for them.
Yeah, the kind of the gimmick on this one is if before they do their energy release, if we hit them with physical attacks, their defense goes up, and if we hit them with magic, their attack goes up. Um, we can usually get away with one magic attack and survive the like lasers, but two starts to get pretty dicey, and then three
Hmm.
is like no way.
It's just like, yeah, it's over, man. But
But
hey,
they
we
have
don't gotta
gotten
worry about
through
it.
to the final one. Zeal 2, two hands. The rule is don't touch them. And the face has 20k HP. When it goes below 10k, it will do a move that brings everyone down to 1 HP. So we want to be aware. We want to know when that's coming, and we want to ideally have someone ready to
Mm,
heal everyone immediately because the hands will also continue to take like turns. And sometimes we'll go immediately after that
yeah,
happens.
I was gonna say you're not lying. Like as soon as she does halation at the halfway point, she'll do that little shadow pointy finger thing, and somebody's going down.
And it also like triggering that like resets her script because she'll do moves in like a particular order. She has an AoE water move called Hexagon Mist, very powerful, will do a lot of damage. There's a
Mm,
shadow AoE move, similar story.
yeah.
So if we know we're heading here, we're looking for the shadow, in particular the water protection. Um,
Oh, oh, that was on
we gotta,
accident.
yeah, we gotta see why we don't mess with the hands
Yeah,
because they
never
counter.
mind.
They're really hard to hurt in general.
And they hurt.
Yeah.
It's in yeah, and the MP Buster too, which I mean, SVJ's gonna be fine. They got plenty of elixirs going for them. Think.
Yeah, well supplied. It's just a matter of just making sure we don't take the wrong combination of hits.
Yeah, that was a pretty hefty hit right there. Mershana is on Lavos 1 now. And well, I mean, already done.
Yeah, making pretty quick work. The Antipodes, Frog plinking in a couple of hits to get through pretty quickly. There's that halation. We do not have a turn queued. We got to be quick. But we're
Very, very.
hasted. We got elixirs. We have healed. And now we got to get through this last chunk of hit points. Ayla would definitely survive the big bad move by being in the middle. Unfortunately, the MP Buster was always hitting that middle person.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
again,
I
with
mean,
like the haste, they're able to like work around this stuff pretty easily.
yeah, it'll be easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Don't.
Rashana's actually coming in here a couple levels lower than Phone was.
Hmm.
I want to say Phone was like 35 and Rashana's rocking like 33.
Oh, okay. No, I mean, if Rashana takes the right precautions with maybe putting some haste up, some possible barriers or something along that, I mean,
Oh yeah, I still think they
should be
definitely have
pretty
like the
decent.
firepower to get through. It's just something I noticed as kind of a
Yeah.
nitpick. It was being like, where do those extra couple levels come from?
Hey, and that's a GG for SVJ right there.
Yeah, let me peek on
Well done.
official time.
Hey, GG.
1:50:03. A very good time for
All up.
Team C.
Awesome. Bananas are hitting Rashana. Luckily, they dispersed themselves, so everybody's in good health.
Spread out the laser bananas, the laser boomerangs, the moon, the they kind of look like those moon one-ups from Super Mario World.
Yeah, the croissants.
And we're gonna get SVJ in the. We got SVJ Savon Jester in the booth with us.
Was there a
fresh off
faster go
their
mode out there?
finish? Our other two went through the wonderful Magus Castle,
Oh, fun.
the Mountain of
That
Woe.
means that
the other
Hecarim Cave had the bent hilt.
Yeah,
Knew it. Damn
it
it.
was it was Woe.
I'm like,
Yeah,
everyone's gonna go there. No one's gonna be in go mode. It's fine.
But you found the alternative relatively quickly. Like they were definitely first into it, but finding that last piece in Giant's Claw.
Yeah, I was like, I decided it was either going to be Giant's Claw or Hecarim Cave, and I'm like, the only thing I don't want in Giant's Claw is anything other than the Chrono Trigger, because I did Son of Sun area and I got the Crisis Mune. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, I
Oh
think
my
that
god.
I would say the big divergence was you did Denadoro, got Pendant, and headed that way.
Ah.
They took Gate Key, did like Reptite, and then headed for Mount Woe, which was because they both did Hecarim
Oh, they
Cave.
did Mount Woe.
That
Ugh.
was Woe. The other sword piece
oh
was on
yeah,
Woe. Yeah.
Ugh.
So
yeah.
they did
They did
Woe.
that fairly early.
And then good to go. But yeah, kind of any overall thoughts in the run? I know you had to have Robo in the party for a bit, and
Oh, it was that Woe phone.
you're a
Uh,
big fan of robots in general.
oh yeah, I love robots. They're great.
I saw you saved Fritz, which you were the only one to do so. So if I was being
I
unfair, I would be like minus 15 minutes to your time for Fritz saving.
I should get 15 minutes back for my time for saving Fritz.
That's what I'm saying. Is minus like some
Mhm.
weird. It should be a bonus, but I have to be fair. Not everyone had the opportunity to do it
Well, to
because
be
not.
fair, I almost did save him. I changed my mind and then I went back and saved him. I saved him for you, Fritz. I saved him for you.
We knew
Yeah.
it.
Now just play like I'm always watching, and then you'll just always save him, and then it'll be fine.
I was very
Shauna
upset to
is
see
going into
Dalton up there. That was not fun.
tier 4. Yeah, that was a bad one. Yeah, any kind of highlight moments for you or particular bosses that
Yeah, I was as I was climbing Black Owen, I'm like, I smell Dalton up here. I could smell his stench.
That's the wrong button.
Yeah, and yeah, ooh, there we go. But I had Luca, so with having Luca, I was like, okay, cool. I can go find the person, like everyone I want, and I found Robo behind a cathedral. So I'm like, okay, so yay. Then I was like, okay, found Ayla on Dactyl Mountain, which is like cool. That I've got the girl power party. I'm good. Yeah, Mershana subs too. She's gonna be super excited about that. She does not sub to very often. She's gonna cry. She said that's what she said. So, oh,
Oh.
I did have 3 sets of or 2 sets of white mail, which was nice.
yeah, that
And
helps to get.
I almost ran up and I almost started checking all the seal chests to see if I could find prism specs, but I I didn't.
Yeah, I believe the prism specs were replaced with the haste specs over in the hunting grounds, which phone did do.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Yep, yep.
I never think about doing that, and I'm sure it has high tier gear.
No,
I
yeah.
don't know. I need to practice that area.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, not a lot of people do that.
Phone
Like,
does, and he finds a lot of good stuff. So.
Yeah, we didn't have any new sightings though.
nope.
I found one, but I was too weak to fight it, so I ran away when I was checking to see who was in Burrow, which was Megas.
I mean, that's fair. I guess I should. We as commentators didn't see any news, but there was a lot of action going on
Oh yeah.
pretty late, so our tired eyes may have missed one or more news. Other than the
No.
shop news, we saw them, of course.
Which we thought they were conspiring with each other, selling the same things.
We had some
Mhm.
bears.
You just gotta take this Lavos fight a little careful.
Hmm. Let's go, Mershana.
Got haste on everyone.
Yeah, Synchronites were dropping speed tabs. That made me super happy.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw there was a couple boss fights, yeah, that were dropping some speed tabs. That was pretty cool.
There we go. Nice.
Yay, middle bit.
There's not a lot of good stuff for Frog out there. There really wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's... Yeah, the
I did
Crisis
find
Rune...
I did find that Wonder Shot on Dalton though.
That... Wonder Shot...
Hey,
Alright.
Nathan or Fitz, if
Yeah.
someone can drop, I guess only Fitz would have access to it. Never mind. When they get back, I'll holler at them.
Let's see. Defense is down over on Mershana's side, so we're doing some hefty offense over on that right bit there. Let's see. Yeah, just
Oh,
throwing
Mega Bomb
some
was their last tech. I didn't see that.
Mega Bomb. Hoping others active, yeah.
This is
Do
where you
some.
hit about 3.
Oh yeah, that's I was thinking the same exact thing. Glacier it up.
Excuse me.
Don't do the thing, middle bit. Don't do it.
The thing, do not.
No. Yes. Okay. Phew. That's an awesome dual tech. It's just so pretty to look at.
$45 on the middle bit. Ooh, boy. I just blow another one.
Noise.
Blow another one, revive the person that dies.
Don't have to worry about. At least I don't think so. Yep, no stone. No stone.
Another nice dodge. Yeah, we don't need those items after this.
Let's go re-raise. Her single attack shenanigans.
Yeah, playing it safe.
Respect.
Sometimes finishing at all is faster than finishing fast.
I agree.
Oh yeah.
Wait for a tiny amount of time.
I have seen many races go really bad for racers in this game by just trying to beef up and beat Lavos down when you know you have them, and then you don't respect when Lavos comes back and brandstones you.
But we got the
There they go.
respect there. Yeah. GG's, Marshana.
201. That's
2
darn
on
good.
1.
Nice.
darn good time.
Nice. Very nice.
Awesome. Let's go.
All right.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hey.
GGs.
GG's.
Thank you. Well done to both of you.
Yeah, GG.
Hello, hello.
That was a
Hey.
Zoom speed. Seed.
GG's.
Well, apparently you guys Yeah, got GG. A different go mode than I did.
Yeah, you
Oh,
won
which-
some different ways.
I got Black Omen.
Oh, nice.
Well,
Where
apparently
were
you
those
guys
pieces?
got a different go mode than I did. I found the clone in the future, and I found the Chrono Trigger on in Giant's Claw.
Wow, we definitely went different
in the
places.
future, and I found the Chrono Trigger. Yeah, you guys did in Mount Woe, I hear. I'm looking forward to watching this race back.
Yeah. I went to Hecarim and then did a desert
Yeah, you
dip,
guys did,
and then
Mount
had
Woe,
some
I hear.
really bad luck with some of the
I'm looking
fights in
forward
WoW.
watching this
I
race
haven't had
back.
that much trouble with those fights in a while, so that slowed me down a chunk. But yeah, then got Magus and zoomed from there.
Yeah, I would say you were definitely like neck and neck with Phone. Y'all were at WoW at similar times. He had Ayla.
Yeah, I would say
And
you
so-
were like you were definitely like
Was
think he
Ayla
had
in the
that.
back of the cathedral?
with phone.
No,
y'all
she
Ayla
were
was
was
on
on
top
deck.
of on deck on
at
this.
similar times.
Oh, I
He
just
had
but-
ignored
Ayla,
and just kept
and
going.
so-
I was just like,
Back
I'm
at
moving
Cathedral
towards
had
you.
Robo.
Yeah.
No, she
Ayla
was on top
Yeah.
of on deck on this.
but so
But-
that he had just the
Back
higher,
at
he had a
Cathedral had
faster
Robo.
character, so he was able to run.
Yeah.
I think from some of the fights that
Yeah.
you
I
were
was
getting
trying
the,
to
like,
take some of them
excellent-
because I wanted the levels
he had
so I
just
could.
the higher. He had a
smash things
faster
better.
character, so he was able to run.
I took a
think,
few of
from
the
some
eyes
fights
in Black Omen, and I
that
took the
you were getting
Rubbles
the, like,
in
excellent.
Giant's Claw.
And then I think
I
the
took a
other
few of the
thing was
eyes in Black
just a
Omen,
difference
and I took
in the
the
Magus fight.
Rubbles in Giant's
Phone got a
Claw.
little bit more lucky with getting elements.
And then I think
Oh,
the
yeah,
other
he
thing
got a
could
little more
work
psycho.
with.
just a difference.
Well,
in
and he
the
had Ayla,
Magus
so
fight.
she can.
And he had
still
Ayla,
get more
yeah.
physical damage.
Phone
Yep.
got a little bit more lucky
To
with
cycle
So-
him faster.
getting
Makes sense.
elements.
Makes sense.
that he could
Because
work
that one
with.
I know, because we were watching on your side too. That it
And he had
really,
Ayla, yeah.
as Magus fights can do
So,
sometimes, like just can
um,
drag on in the first phase where we're
Because
just
that one I
not
know,
getting.
because we were watching on.
You would say that, but you're gonna watch Mershana's Magus
Magus
fight
fights
and
can
go,
do
"I
sometimes,
actually
like,
was
just
lucky."
drag on in the first
Comparatively.
phase.
You would say that, but you're gonna watch Mershana's Magus fight.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hey.
well,
and
that was
I
that was
actually
fun.
was
That was
lucky.
fun. Not my PB, but pretty high up there for me. So
Yeah, you did.
that fun.
It was excellent. We were like, come on, sub two.
Sub two. I know. If I hadn't had those issues in WoW, I would have had the sub 2. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, but you respected Lavos, and that's still darn good. You know, gotta respect Lavos.
Yeah, those levels went pretty dang smoothly for me. I actually am not used to running with Frog and Marl. I tend to avoid them, so it was a little bit rougher, and their better techs were much lower in their tree.
I would have used Frog, but I didn't find anything good for him. So I was like, oh well, let's be him.
Yeah, I debated just trying to find another character, or when I made the
I did
solo
find the
going
Crisis
into
Mune, which is
the-
nice.
Mm-hmm.
But this is when I had Ayla, and I just said, nope, we're good.
That was lots of fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank
Had a
you.
great time.